Hello and welcome to I Watched It With My Wife. This is the podcast where Sarah and I watch and review movies. If you remember last time on this podcast, I said that we were going to be watching Raya and the Last Dragon, but we're switching it up because for a very special reason. We wound up watching The Sound of Music, and Sarah will explain exactly why we switched it up.
Yes. So this week we're doing a tribute through all of our podcasts to my grandmother. She passed away last Friday, and you'll hear more about that on our podcast, Caregiver Chronicles, if you're interested to hear more about my grandmother and her tribute. We'll share that. But Jeremy and I talked about it, and we really took some time to think about what we wanted to do, and we both felt like this was a great way to honor her. We also talked to my mom about this, and my grandmother that passed was my mom's mom, and my mom really appreciated and respected the fact that we're doing this as a tribute and an honor to her, because I know my grandmother would be very proud of us for doing this if she were here and she could tell us, right?
Yes. And so we chose The Sound of Music because it was her favorite movie of all time.
It was one of her favorite movies.
Or at least one of her favorite movies. And it's a really good movie overall. As I was telling Sarah at one point, the American Film Institute listed this in their top 100 movies of all time. It made the list at number 55, and it was the number 4 on the list of top musicals.
Yes. And I agree with that statement. I've seen The Sound of Music probably 10,000 times in my life, at least. The last time I watched this movie, I actually watched it with my grandmother. Her dementia had progressed to the point where she couldn't be left alone, so I had a day dedicated to go and stay with her. And me, her, and my oldest son, Remy, were watching The Sound of Music together. And every now and then she'd sing a line from one of the songs, but it wasn't long after that she lost that ability entirely too. So this movie has a lot of nostalgia for me. I think it was almost every holiday or every Christmas this movie would come on at night, and we'd watch it as a family, eat snacks. I'd sit with Memere and Pepe. My grandmother wanted to be a nun. That's kind of another thing, but then she met my grandfather and decided not to become a nun. So I think she loved this movie a lot because she really resonated with it.
Yeah. I definitely see that with Julie Andrews' character starting out as a nun, or wanting to become a nun, and living at the convent, and then falling in love with the man whose kid she's sent to take care of. So I can see the comparisons why it would
somewhat,
it would resonate with Meme.
Also, the music. The music is timeless. The film is timeless.
Yes, it's, you were singing along to every single song. I was singing along to most of them because I know people who've never seen this movie who know several of these songs. If you say doe, there are a lot of people out there who may have never seen this movie that it will go a deer, a female deer, so long, farewell, I am 16 going on 17. These are a few of my favorite things. I mean, people can name these songs whether they've seen the movie or not. The music has outlasted the movie, probably.
I don't know. I think the music makes the movie. I think it's...
Oh, the music definitely makes the movie.
You gotta have the music. You gotta have the music in the movie. It's a musical. It's a 3-hour-long musical.
Yes, this would be a very boring movie without the music. Let's be clear.
Yeah, I don't think I could tolerate it without the singing. But I really do have a nostalgic place for this movie in my heart. I always have. Actually, this is a movie that, as I get older and I learn more about what goes into filmmaking and different aspects and classics and things like that, I think I appreciate this movie more now than when I was a kid. I remember thinking it was a little bit boring when I was younger.
I can see why.
Versus now, I appreciate it more, but I think it's more the nostalgia.
Not one explosion. It was sad.
No, there's no explosions in The Sound of Music, guys. I'm sorry. It's probably one of the few movies I like that didn't have any explosions. But it had 25 songs?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or 30 singing scenes and a puppet show.
Yeah, they definitely could have cut the puppet show. That was really unnecessary. It added nothing to the movie.
They could have did a lot of things a little differently. The movie is based off a real family. The Von Trapp family is a real family. They did escape and end up, I think it was New Hampshire, I read that they lived in.
Yeah, they escaped Austria. They made it to Switzerland and then eventually made it over to the United States.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it was New Hampshire.
And I don't think it was that close of an escape of what there was in the movie.
No, I don't think it was that close. What I do know is that in the scene where Julie Andrews' character, Maria, she's not Von Trapp yet, is going to meet the Von Trapps and sings, I have confidence. You see you're passing by some people. One group of the passersby is the actual Maria Von Trapp and two of her children. So, they were definitely helped contribute to the movie.
Yes. I don't really know what else I have to say because I really do love this movie in a nostalgic way. It's never gonna be like my favorite blow up things movie, but I really do love it in a very nostalgic way.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's one of the many movies that reminds us what a gem Julie Andrews is.
She is. She's got an amazing voice.
Yeah, Mary Poppins is better, but that's neither here nor there. I just really like Mary Poppins. It's a good movie too.
That's okay. You're allowed to. But we weren't picking this movie for us.
No,
we were picking this
for Memere.
Yeah, we were picking this as a tribute to my grandmother. And there are a few times I was watching it and I just, I don't want to get emotional, but there are a few times I was watching it and I was just like, I just wish you would sit next to me one more time and watch this movie. But I know in my heart that just can't happen. And I knew if you would ask me a week ago, 2 weeks ago even, I would have told you there's no way that was ever going to happen again because, she was feeling, which again, we talk more about in this week's Caregiver Chronicles. But I just have such a nostalgic place in my heart. And I think now with it being my grandmother's favorite or one of her favorite movies ever and her being gone, I almost think I liked it more this time watching it than I ever have before.
I could certainly see that. It makes a whole lot of sense. I feel like when my dad eventually passes away, I'm going to watch Old Yeller and appreciate it more because I don't know if it's his favorite movie, but it's one of the few movies I know he will still sit down and watch.
Yeah.
There's not a lot. My dad does not watch movies a lot, but there are a few of them, and Old Yeller is one of them. And I have a feeling when he passes, I'm going to end up watching that one.
Yeah.
And appreciating
The
it
Wizard
more.
of Oz would be another very nostalgic movie for me. That's probably my favorite movie ever is The Wizard of Oz. But the only thing, there were scenes in The Sound of Music that could have been cut out. But other than that, it's just, I can't say anything bad about it. And I give it a 10 out of 10.
It's
spoiler alert.
Yeah, we'll revisit that. But it's a little too long. It does not need to be 3 hours, but
neither does Captain America.
Captain America's not 3 hours.
What was that movie you made me watch that was 3 hours long?
I haven't made you watch a 3-hour movie yet.
I thought Captain America was 3 hours long.
It was only 2 hours.
I thought it was 2.5 or something.
It was 2 hours. We haven't even gotten to the long Marvel movies yet.
God. I'm going to die watching these movies. Well, I might.
Anyway.
I love you.
Let's go to Sarah's segment, Snacks with Sarah.
So, Sarah didn't really have a snack tonight. What do we have? Cheese puffs?
Yes, we had Utz cheese balls.
Yeah.
And I had a Cider Boy, so please, if you're listening, Cider Boy, sponsor us, please.
Yeah. So I'm sure Cider Boys is one of our 3 listeners. I had a tea. I drank a tea. It's a blue butterfly tea from Epicure. It's really cool. It's actually like purple and blue. It's not caffeinated. I threw a couple lemon wedges in there to feel fancy. And I put about half a shot of Pink Whitney in there and half a shot of Kinky Blue just to kind of spike it, jazz it up a bit. But that's tonight's snacks with Sarah. We did have a big dinner. We had tacos for dinner.
Yes.
So we're a little bit full from that.
But we had a Fiesta Friday. We're recording this on a Friday, even though you'll be hearing it on a Monday.
Yeah. Well, we record usually in advance.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. But now to the thing, Sarah has, spoiled it.
I spoiled the ranking.
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
Yes.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I give this one an 8 out of 10. It's a classic, and you can see why, but it is a little long. Also, Christopher Plummer, who played Captain Von Trapp, famously hated his role. He said he didn't like the way the character was portrayed, and also said that the subject was really gooey, and so he hated it.
Well, it was, but
I mean, he wasn't wrong, but he was not a fan. So yeah, I give it 8 out of 10. You can see why it's a classic, but you can cut that whole puppet show out, and it would not change the movie one bit.
I know. I didn't really get too much of the point of that. I think it was just to prove that Uncle Frank was cheap.
Yeah.
I think they'd already made enough jokes about him that we believed it. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 for all the reasons I said. The nostalgia behind it for me and my family, this being a special movie that I'd watch with my grandmother, this being my grandmother's favorite movie. Also, I've always thought, and I said it today while we were watching it, even before, that this is one of the greatest movies of all time. Do I think it's too long? Yes. But I think it tells an incredible story. And I think it's done in an innocent way that you don't see in a lot of films anymore. You don't even see this really in kid films anymore. You don't, like that sweet innocence. And there were some definitely funny moments in there that we laughed out loud. One of my favorite scenes is the nuns at the end of the movie where they go, "Forgive me, Mother, I've sinned," and they have the car parts in their hand
to make sure the Nazis couldn't catch the Von Trapps. That was great. It is a great way to end it.
Oh yeah, it was. I love the nuns.
All right, so that'll wrap up this week's I Watched It With My Wife. For our next, I've already picked out our next 2 movies. As we said before, when I teased before, we're going to watch Raya and the Last Dragon, which is now in the free section of Disney Plus, the newest Walt Disney Animation Studios pictures. And also the one that just hit in the free section as well, Luca, the new Pixar film. So yeah, we're going to stay with Disney Plus for the next 2 movies. And like I said, we've also been watching This Is a Robbery on Netflix, so we'll try and get that out for our docuseries edition. And for more of our tributes to Sarah's Memere, check out Caregiver Chronicles. We will discuss that. Check out this week's Racing with Remy, because he also did a nice little tribute to her. And coming up on Wednesday with I Listen With My Wife, we're going to be reviewing her favorite musical artist, Elvis Presley.
Yes. Right. So thank you all for listening. I hope you have a wonderful week. And reach out and let us know what your favorite nostalgic movies are. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.